So welcome to this morning's session. It's lovely to see you all. I hope you've had a lovely long weekend, enjoying any celebrations or anything you might have been doing. So yeah, let's have a, oh, Michelle's gone already. Let's have a lie down, finding your space. Finding your space and connecting with the ground. So it might be that you want to have a really good wriggle around to start off with, just feeling into the body and what it needs this morning. Position any support that will be helpful for it. So cushions, blankets, or whatever you need. Just tuning into the lower back and how that sort of informs what we do with our legs. So it might be that you can stretch the legs out and that's okay, but it might be that you want to keep your knees bent. Running through all of these checks as we do each time, bringing a beginner's mind to the process. Noticing how the pelvis is lying and not only how that impacts on the lower back, but also whether it feels even on the left and the right side, or whether you feel you'd like to have a little shuffle about. And feeling the whole of the spine and the connection it makes with the floor. To the shoulders and recognizing whether the shoulders are up around the ears, and if they are, just shuffling one and then the other away. Turn the palms up to the ceiling, arms away from the sides of the body, and tuck the chin in to lengthen along the back of the neck. And take some long, deep breaths in through the nostrils and then sigh the breath out. And feel free to make as much noise as you like as you sigh, because no one else can hear you. Well, apart from Lisa and John, obviously. And as you really have a long exhalation, a long sigh, having a sense of letting go. And arriving in this space, in this moment, just as you are. Feeling the body surrendering to the earth, and the earth really coming up to support you. Noticing that how this feels in the face, the head, shoulders, arms, hands, fingers and thumbs. The upper body, torso, down to the lower back, the belly, the hips, thighs, knees, lower legs, ankles, feet and toes. Feeling your awareness traveling on the breath as it finds a natural rhythm. We're going to be doing some work around circles and spirals today, in that often in yoga, what we're always moving in is in linear ways, backwards and forwards or side to side. And it's really helpful to work with twists, because our muscles don't lie in straight lines. They overlap, they go left, right, all over the place. So we're just going to work a little bit more in that way today. So starting off with just opening the eyes if they've been closed, and starting to circle the eyes around. So only doing this a couple of times in one direction. So maybe start looking down at the nose, around to the left, and then up to the forehead, around to the other side and down. Doing it slowly so you don't feel a bit dizzy, queasy. And then back in the other direction. Just exercising the eye muscle. And then taking that to the nose. So we're going to go round with the nose. A little bit like Bewitched. Wriggling your nose. Round in one direction and then the other way. Just a couple of times, and then taking that down to the jaw, opening the mouth and just moving the lower jaw around. Really opening the mouth wide to the left and the right. Notice if there's any noises coming from the jaw. Back the other way. And then doing the same with the tongue. Stick the tongue out. Twice in one direction and then back the other way round. Lovely. And then feeling the weight of the head resting on the floor. And if you have your head on a pillow, just taking that pillow away, and we're going to just take the head around in a circle. So bring the chin down to the chest and then go around to the side, and then without taking the head off the floor, just bringing it up around in a circle over to the right and then back to the center. Doing that a couple of times. All the way around. And then back the other way. Feeling into the neck and the shoulders. Good. And then coming into the center. And just lifting the hands up off the floor. Keep the elbows there to begin with. And circling the hands, the wrists around. Just taking your time to mobilize into the wrists. Spreading the fingers wide, working into the thumbs as well. And then back the other way. And then we're going to take that movement up a little higher. So lift the elbows up off the floor and go back in the direction you started with. Just working into the wrists and then the elbows and the shoulders. So you'll start to mobilize into the shoulders quite a bit. Maybe lifting and lowering them up towards the ears and then down either side of the spine. One way and then back the other. Reaching up to the ceiling, so that you feel that you're opening into the shoulder blades. Really warming these areas up. Turning the hands around, mobilizing into the wrists. Good. And then gently let that movement just softly find the floor and rest the arms down by your sides. Feel maybe a little bit of warmth in the hands or the shoulders. And then bringing your attention a little bit lower to the pelvis. So we're going to bend the knees, place the feet hip distance apart. And then we've done this many times, imagining that your belly is like a plate and you've got a marble on the outer edge of the plate, and you're going to just take that marble around the whole of the plate using the movement of your pelvis. So easing it round, there's no rush, drawing in through the pelvic floor, around to one side. You might be lifting up to come onto the coccyx, that tailbone, as you come round. And then really pulling in the pelvic floor, the belly button to the base of the spine. Pressing into the feet a little bit. Feeling the muscles changing as you mobilize in this way. And then back the other direction. Noticing if that feels a little different. Good, and then having some tone in your tummy as you come to the end, just drawing your belly button down to the base of the spine a little, making sure your lower back is flat on the floor, and then bring the right knee in, and we're just going to circle the right foot around into the ankle, pointing the toes, drawing the toes up towards you, just around, and take that movement up into the knee and into the hip, so that you just start to have a play around with however far you want to take that, and feeling that you're really mobilizing into the hips. So both hands are still down by your sides, and you're just taking that foot, knee, hip around in really big circles, going into spirals and circles and all that sort of thing, and then back the other way. So making sure you keep bending the knee around. You might hear some little crepitus noises from the knee. That little bubbly sound comes from the knee. And then slowly, slowly, in your own time, bring that foot back down to the floor. And maybe just having a pause, a couple of breaths in and out, to see if you can feel the difference between the right and the left. And then drawing the left knee in and starting off just with the ankle going round, just mobilizing into the ankle. Tummy button down to the base of the spine, so your pelvic floor is engaged as well. And then when you're ready, start to mobilize into the knee, so that comes around in quite a circle. And then bring in the hip a lot more, and you might take your leg right out to the side and then across in front of you. So you keep the ankle going, the knee going, and the hip. And notice how that feels in your lower back. Also aware if you've got any tension that you're holding on to in your hands or your shoulders, and releasing that. And back the other way. So keeping those big movements going, crossing over if your hips allowing you to, taking it out to the side. All that lovely rotational movement that warms up the muscles, lubricates the joints, and then slowly, slowly bringing that back down to the mat. Oh, have a couple of breaths in and out. That already feels like it was a bit aerobic. And then we're going to just bend the elbows and bring the knees up towards you. And we're going to do all of that at the same time. So we're going to start with the wrists and the ankles going round, and then just really go for it in your own way. So elbows and knees, and then hips and shoulders, arms and legs going all over the shop. You might even want to cross the feet to get more movement into the hips. It's like you're doing some kind of weird swimming technique or something. I don't know. Or imagining you're a little insect or something. And then back the other way. Really making use of this. So if you're crossing your ankles, you might do cross one way and then cross the other. You might want to do the same with the arms, crossing them over. Beautiful. And then slowly calming back down, feet on the floor, arms down by your sides. A couple of breaths in and out. Nice. Lovely. And then we're going to extend the legs away, extend the arms, have a good stretch. We haven't stretched yet. So we're going to lengthen, a yawn. And then we're going to roll over onto the side. So easing over onto your right side, if that's a side you can get onto easily in this time. And lengthen the arm away, the right arm away, just resting your head on that right arm. So this is a way of really working in a kind way into your shoulder. So if you have a tight shoulder, it really opens up into the armpit. Just creep your hand away as far as you possibly can. And then your legs are in a straight line, flexing the feet. And you'll feel as you're doing this, these little micro movements that happen to keep you there. So if possible, you place your hand on your thigh. But if that is creating real instability, you can put your hand in front. Good. So just feeling those little movements, let the head feel really heavy. And then breath in and breath out, lifting the head up. Just place the head on the hand with the elbow bent. So you're still opening into the shoulder. If this is sore on the neck, you can keep your head down on the arm. You don't have to lift your head up. And we're going to, with your feet flexed, we're just going to lift and lower. Just to start off with, just to kind of connect with the hip, drawing in through the core, pelvic floor. And then we're going to continue with this theme of circles. So bringing your leg into a place where it feels like it's working quite hard, we're going to circle that leg around. Pushing through the heel, bringing the toes towards you. Hopefully you're feeling your hip mobilizing. So often in yoga, we think about stretching and opening, but strengthening is as important. That Sthira and Sukha, and this is really strengthening. Back the other way. Trying to keep your back nice and lengthened, drawing in through the stomach so the core's working. Good. And then place that foot back down again. And then we're going to lift and lower both legs together. So this is quite hard work. If it's too hard, just go back to single leg lift. But we're just going to lift and lower as if your ankles and feet are stuck together. Just lifting up. So you won't be able to go nearly as high as you did, obviously, with one leg. It's really hard to balance without touching down. And then holding the legs there and go round in a circle. Ooh. Now that is hard work. And then back the other way. Nice. And then give that top leg a hug. Draw it in. And holding onto the toes. If you've got a strap, you might want to strap and extend that leg away as much as you possibly can. Opening to the back of the knee. Every time you breathe out, really feeling that you're lengthening through the hamstrings a little bit more. Yeah. If you find it quite difficult, you can always get yourself a strap and do that. It's quite a nice feeling to have a strap to hand. Good. And then place that foot, either put the foot in front of you if you can, or you can lie with your knee resting on the floor. It's entirely up to you and what your hips will allow you to do this morning. And we're going to lift and lower that bottom leg, push the heel away, bring the toes towards you. So strengthening into the inner thigh. And then holding that up as high as you can and circling it round. Easing it around as much as you can go. One way and then back the other. So lifting it, taking it all the way round. Good. And then very gently, just resting that down. Have a couple of breaths. And then we're going to roll over onto the other side. So once you get there, just finding that position where you're nice and straight. You don't want to be like a banana, even though I'm dressed like a banana today. We want to be nice and straight. So you're resting your head on your arm, opening into your armpit, flexing the feet and hand down your leg if that's possible. And as your shoulder starts to open, just noticing the weight of the head and how that enables that process to happen. You might be able to wriggle your hand away a little bit more just to create more space in the shoulder. It's a nice feeling to be able to do that. And then we're just going to lift and lower the top leg just a few times. So notice how that feels. And then circling that around. Pushing the heel away, bringing the toes towards you. Just easing that movement around as best you can. Remembering you can put your hand in front if you need to create some balance. Otherwise, really keeping that core nice and strong. And then back the other way. Good. And then placing those legs together, down. And you might want to lift your head up, rest your head on your hand. And then we're going to lift and lower both legs together. So the ankles are sort of stuck together. And then holding it as high as you can and little circles. So you'll be resting on your hip. Little circles around. And then back the other way. I can really feel that. Oh, the muscles in your stomach, your core, your waist, everything working hard when you're doing that properly. And then gently bend the knee up. Give it a good hug. And then let's extend that leg away. Breathing in, breathing out. Straightening through the leg, holding on to the strap if you need to, or strap equivalent, like a dressing gown lead or cord or something. Every time you breathe out, just opening into the back of the knee. Nice. And bending through, and either place that foot in front of you or rest the knee down. It's entirely up to you. And then we're going to take the attention to the leg underneath, lifting and lowering to begin with, just a couple of times before we kind of find where the best place is to lift it, draw in through the core, and then we're going to circle that around. Good, trying to keep it as high up off the mat as is possible for you, and then back the other way. Lifting and lowering as you circle it. Good. And then gently down, just stretch them both out again. A nice long breath in and out. And then we're going to ease ourselves up to sitting. So coming into a nice Dandasana. You might want to sit on a block. Extend the legs away. Draw the toes up towards you when you're there. Arms down by the sides, resting on the sides. And imagining a piece of string coming up through the top of your head, shoulders away from the ears. Drawing those toes up towards you, so you're really opening into the hamstrings. And we're going to go into Ardha Matsyendrasana, so bringing your right knee in, still having a real sense of elevation through the spine, and then crossing the foot over. So you might be able to plant it on the mat or the floor. And so your right foot is over your left leg. Allow the right hand to come down and the left arm behind. Take a breath in, breathing out. Let's go into a nice spinal twist. So every time you breathe out, pressing just that little bit more. Turning the head around with it. The shoulder, the left shoulder back and down. Good. And then coming back to the center, finding that elevation again. The right hand comes behind, left arm reaching up for the ceiling, and then elbow to the outer edge of the right knee, breathing in, breathing out, turning in the other direction. So keeping the spine nice and long, looking behind you, feeling that lovely twist in the spine. So every time you breathe out, there's a little bit more of a turn, like wringing out a dishcloth. Good. Coming back to the centre. Your big toes looking very nice today, Michelle. I can see your big toe in the screen, and that's about it. And then having a shake. So both legs extended, having a shake. Lovely. All right, and just doing that on the other side. So bringing the left knee in, sitting up nice and tall, shoulders away from the ears. Beautiful deep breaths. And crossing the left leg over the right. Sliding the left hand down to the ankle or wherever you can find it that feels quite natural. The right arm behind. So we're having that open twist first, breathing in, breathing out. So you'll be able to go around, you'll find a little bit more than before. Easing around. Keeping that feeling of lengthening up through the top of the head. It really helps with the twist. And then back, lifting the arm up to the ceiling, left hand behind, right elbow, and then really good twist. Good. Nice. And coming back to the center, having a little shake, legs extended, wriggle the toes, and then we're going to ease ourselves up in your own way to standing. So just gently coming round maybe onto your knees, and then coming up to standing. Good. So feet are hip distance apart. Really planting the toes on the floor. It's good to really get a sense of the ground. So separating the toes nice and wide, lifting up through the top of the head. Just feeling the weight of your upper body sort of sitting on the pelvis. Quite a nice feeling that. So there's that feeling of the weight of the body just dropping down through the center of the earth. Good. And then let's just ease into the shoulders a little bit more than we have done. Just rolling them and opening them. So we start to mobilize into the back so that you're arching the back forwards and back with the rolling of the shoulders. Creating some space and then coming forwards. So you're doing butterfly. Good. Again, once more. Oh, and have a little shake. So interlacing the fingers, turn the palms away from you, and then I'm just going to step away because I'm going to hit the ceiling. Stretching the arms up above, and we're going to go back into spirals where we're keeping this posture, but we're starting to work from the waist going round in a spiral. So the hands stay uppermost and you're working from the waist. So just starting off in small circles, not doing anything too big, drawing in through the core, and notice how that's all feeling for you in your lower back and all of your spine. Moving the hips around, and if it all feels okay, you can start to increase that range of movement so that you're going to quite a flat back, coming forwards, going back as far as you feel able to, over to the sides. And we're going to start to allow the arms to come down. So you're lifting and lowering. So the hands are coming down towards the floor, then facing over to one side and then lifting up. So only doing what your body enables you to do. Quite a strong move, so feeling into that. And then taking it up to the ceiling. Just let the arms come down for a moment. Close the eyes. Maybe you're still in your head going round and round, so just notice that. Just give your fingers and thumbs a little wriggle, stabilizing yourself once more through an awareness of the feet. And then we're going to do exactly the same, but going in the other direction. So taking the arms up. So remembering which way you went round first of all, and changing that. So starting off small again. Starting off with really small movements. Feel the depth of movement in the core, the changing sensations in the rib cage. And then starting to bring that twist into the body, so you can turn to one side and the other as the arms start to go a little further. And you can start to move the arms downwards with the body. And you might want to start to really bend forward so the hands are coming down towards or even onto the floor and around. So taking your time, there's no rush. Being aware of the breath in this movement. Really dipping down. You can slow it down and feel all the muscles working. Good, and then just slowly easing yourself back up to standing. Have a stretch, lifting up out of the waist, and then, oh, those arms come down by the sides. Give the legs a little bit of a shake. A roll of the shoulders, whatever you feel you'd like to do. You might want to just loosen into the hips a little. Nice. Good. All right. So we're going to go into, because we're revolving today, we're going to go into a revolving triangle. So making sure you've got some space to do that. So you'll need some space behind you as well as to the side view. So bringing your legs to one leg length apart. And then we're just going to turn both feet a little way in that direction to the right, and then turn the right foot a lot more than that. So sometimes when you're revolving, it's quite good to allow the other foot to come round as well. We don't usually do that in Trikonasana, but so we'll do this with a bent leg and then see if we can straighten it. So just softly bend the knee. So just giving ourselves a little bit of space to be able to get a really good twist through the hips. So we really think about the hips, the spine, the shoulders, the neck. So the whole of spine is revolving. So take your arms out to the sides, shoulders away from the ears. Maybe just turn the palms up and down a couple of times. Helps to engage through the muscles of the shoulders. Nice. And then take a breath in, and as you breathe out, keep the arms straight. We're revolving to the right. And when you feel like you've twisted as much as you possibly can, we're going to take the left hand down to the right foot and the right arm up to the ceiling, and turn to look at that right arm. Good. So shoulder back, nicely, sir. And every time you breathe out, just see if you can get a little bit more of a twist into that movement. Mobilized into the spine, the neck, the shoulders. If it's sore on the neck, just let the head come down to the floor, or to look down at the floor. Take a breath in, breathing out, pressing into that foot. Keep the knee bent. Come back up and slowly down. Perfect. So we're going to do all that on the other side. So turn the right foot in a little and the left foot at right angles. Nice. So soften through that knee. Take the arms out to the sides. Just having a little play. I always like to have a little bit of a play. And then breathing in, drawing through the core, breathing out, you revolve first on this occasion. Take the left arm behind, and then the right hand comes down towards or onto the foot. You might just rest it in front. Or if you can't get that far, you might want to use a block to just rest on, and then lift up the arm behind and turn to look at the hand. Good, nice twist. Keep the knees soft, just feeling that sense of really twisting into the middle of the body, but also the upper back, the neck. Breath in, breath out, coming back to the center and down. Just bring the legs in for a bit, just have a shake. So yeah, it might be an idea as we're going into straight leg revolving Trikonasana to get something like a block. If you feel like you wanted to bring the ground a bit closer to you, that's what a block does. It's very, very useful for that. So we're going to try and keep the legs as straight as possible, which obviously for most of you will mean that you can't go down quite as far, hence the floor coming up to you. So I don't want you to kind of lock the knee in place. There's like a little bit of a give there. So you're not sort of hyperextending, but the leg is as straight as you possibly can get it. So the right foot's at right angles. The left foot is a little bit of a turn. Just going to adjust mine to get myself there. Good. And the further apart your legs go, the closer to the floor you get. So in some ways, the easier it gets. That's the way the story goes. And then extend the arms away. Good. A couple of turns of the hands just to engage the rotator cuffs. And then take a breath in, draw in through the core. Start revolving to your right. Keep that leg as straight as you possibly can. If you can get to the floor, that's good. If you can't, put your hand on something maybe, and then take the right arm up behind you. Turn to look at the hand. And breathe. And as you breathe, see if you can really straighten through that right leg. It's a good, strong posture. Holding that posture. Looking up at the hand. Nice use of the block, Lisa. I like that. Well done. And then gently and slowly pressing down, easing around, coming back to the center. Have a pause. Ooh, both feet just aligned, pointing forward for a moment, maybe a couple of breaths in and out.
such a good posture for so many reasons. It's also just sort of squeezing into the organs as it twists and helps mobilize all sorts of things, get the juices flowing. So you turn the left foot around, kind of the right at a little bit of an angle, straightening through that left leg now, but with a little bit of softness in the knee. Arms extended. Just really ensuring the shoulders are down. Core is strong, that tucking of the pelvis. Breathing in and breathing out, rotating around first before you come down towards onto the floor. Left arm up and turn to look at the hand. So take your time to just play around with this posture a little bit. Every time you breathe out, you're twisting a little bit more. That's nice, John. Good. So using the breath to enable you to move a little bit more. If it's sore on the neck, just get the head looking down towards the floor. That left shoulder coming back as far as you're able to. And then a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, pressing into the foot. Remember how important transitions are. Just coming out of that. Beautiful. Well done, everybody. I liked all the modifications there with blocks and not twisting so far and all sorts going on, which is really, really good to see. This is a roll of the shoulders. Good. And a release of the thighs, although our thighs are really nicely opened. Good. And then let's just use this extra range that we've got through the shoulders to just really open them out. Take the hands back, interlacing the fingers. Take a breath in, soften through the knees, breathing out. Forward bend, let the head come down and the arms come up as much as possible. Let the head go. And then pressing down to the feet, easing yourself up. And then have a little ease from side to side. Just notice what that feels like in the shoulders. So don't overdo it. If your shoulders is a little bit constricted, keep the hands up and just have a little movement of the shoulders. And then gently release. Good. So coming back along the mat to about the halfway point. And take a breath in, both arms coming up. And as you breathe out, softening down through the knees. So we're going to go into our balancing postures from downward facing dog. So we're going to walk the hands forwards. We did this, I think, last week or the week before, but I'm just spending a little more time on it, knowing that you can come out of it any time you wish. So if you're able to, keeping your heels on the floor as you extend your legs away, just walking the hands forwards as much as you possibly can. Opening to the backs of the knees, drawing through the core, noticing how that creates a difference in the spaciousness. Feel the breath. And then we're going to take the body weight over to the left leg, bring the right foot up to the ceiling, flex that foot. Take another breath, and as you breathe out, take the knee out to the side. So you're really starting to twist
and open, and we can bring the body, the chest, the head through the armpit. So we're turning to look up towards the ceiling. This is really strong. Well, lots of different parts of the body, but on the shoulder, the leg. But every time you breathe out, see if you can just twist into that a little bit more. So you're bringing your body through underneath your armpit. As much of a twist as possible. And if you're able to, you can just start to come up maybe onto your fingertips and take some of the weight off your right arm. You might even lift your hand up if you're feeling so inclined. Well done. And then slowly back down into down dog. And doing that on the other side. So first of all, take the body weight to the right, flex the knee and the left, heel up towards the ceiling. Take a breath in, breathing out, the knee comes right out to the side. And then we're starting to twist to look. So you're kind of dropping down through your right arm. So you might want to bend your right arm a little bit, bend the elbow so your chest can come through underneath your left. So you're turning to look up at the ceiling. That's better, Neil, on that side. If you can take your knee out to the side a little bit more. That's it. Good. Keep breathing. Might be you come up onto your fingertips of the left hand, making it a real balancing posture. Nice. And then gently back into down dog. Have a last little stretch through the back of the legs, the heels coming to the floor. And then slowly ease yourself down into child, or just let those shoulders release. Separate the knees if that's helpful. Just create some space. Nice breaths in and out. And then coming on up and into cat posture, just bringing the knees to hip distance apart and the heels of the hands just on the mat. Let's do a couple of rounds of cat just to allow the spine to release a little bit more. Then bring the elbows down onto the ground and sort of touch the fingertips together, and then plant the hands, the forearms down. I'm going to go into elbow plank. So just preparing yourself for that. You might want to move your knees back a little bit. Take a moment, tuck your toes under, take a breath in, breathing out. Bring the shoulders over the elbows. The back nice and straight, drawing in through the core. Good. Nice, John and Lisa. The other three I cannot see. Just holding it, maybe coming out of it and coming back into it. It's really
pulling in through the core. Doing that a few times until you collapse. And then with the arms extended, coming back into extended child, opening into the shoulders. Nice. And then easing around onto your back and bring your knees into your chest. And let's just circle the knees around to finish off this sense of spiraling. Knees going around in a circle. Small circles, big circles, whatever you feel like doing today. In one direction. Back the other way. And then hands around the back of the head, interlacing the fingers, elbows out and onto the floor if that's possible. Bringing the knees and the ankles together. So the feet are still up off the floor. Take a breath in, breathing out, take the knees over to the right side. So it becomes quite a strong twist. If it's possible, keeping the left elbow down on the floor. If not, it will pop up a little bit of its own accord. And then if you want a little bit more of a twist, you can take your right hand on top of the outer side of the left leg, cross the legs over, and just bring the spine into a really strong twist. Repeating that on the other side. Breath in, breath out. Take your knees over to the left. And then twisting in that direction. So the left hand can come on top of the outer edge of the right knee. Beautiful breaths into the ribs, the shoulder. Nice. And then coming back to the center and have a stretch. Take the arms up, push the heels away, really lengthening through the body and finding a comfortable place. So you put your layers on if you need to, or you may well be plenty warm enough. Good. Just finding a comfortable posture, whatever that is for you. As we ease ourselves into relaxation. Feeling the body and all those parts of the body we've mobilized, stretched, strengthened. So there might be a feeling of warmth, of tingling, of openness, traveling of the energy through the body, noticing how that feels. As I just guide you through a walk in the country. Imagining that you're in the countryside and aware of the blue sky, all the different shades of blue, the healing colour of blue, the blueness of the sky. And be aware of the sun shining down and how it feels on your body. The golden yellow sun. The energy. The vitality. And be aware of any gentle moving clouds. Fluffy clouds, hanging like cotton wool, gently bubbling, drifting high in the sky. Be aware of the passing green fields, the freshness, as you feel the colour green drenching the body. Breathe green. Approach a kissing gate and gently lift the latch. Walk through the gate and find yourself in a field of bright crimson poppies. Be aware of the tall green stems, the central black eye, the delicate petals, a field of crimson. Feel the bright red lift the spirits and feel a surge of joy. You hear the sound of running water. Approach a gentle stream. Feel the coolness in the air, the clarity, the energy. Perhaps you're aware of the gentle sound of Om, the sound of the universe. Cross the stream by way of stepping stones and arrive in a field. Two horses are watching your approach. You pass slowly by. In the distance, you hear the sound of church bells chiming. Stop for a moment and listen to the slow, clear chime. A small church appears, very pretty, very old. Enter the church. It is empty and quiet. Take a seat and breathe in the peace and tranquility. Feel the presence of all those souls who have gone before you, walking the same walk, seeking peace and stillness. Feeling that connectivity as you rest for a while and enjoy the stillness. And as we come towards the end of this relaxation, noticing how it feels in the body, the breath, and start to slowly deepen the breath in and out. Beginning to bring some movement to your body, some movement with awareness and kindness. In whatever way feels right for you. Making sure to really take care of yourself as you ease yourself in whichever way you wish to, back up to sitting. Take your time, there's no rush. Easing yourself up nice and slowly. Beautiful. And when you're ready, have a lovely long stretch. Hopefully the shoulders feel beautifully loose. Another breath in, and as you breathe out, just let the arms come down. And namaste. Thank you.